Hello, and thank you for joining me. My name is Shamus Jennings. Today I'm here to introduce the graphical user interface for the RuralConnect Gen 3 TV whitespace system. Having entered my username and password, I've logged in here to the home page. The system status is general information. You can make changes to different parts of the system without clicking on any edit button or going to any other screens. You simply click on the field that you want to change. You make the change that you want and either press enter or click on the green check. You can also make the decision to not save a change by clicking on the red tick. A Gen 3 base station has 3 sectors. That's 3 radios with 3 different sector antennas. You'll see that my base station is currently only operating 1. You can name the sector, and then you have the BSID, the SSID, and the channel. At the bottom of the page, we have the Cpe status. This shows the connection status of all the CPEs in our network. Any of the CPEs that are online are going to show a valid BSID. Next to each connected CPE, you also see the current downlink and uplink modulation schemes that are being used, as well as the current software version. Maintaining user accounts, you simply click on the user accounts button, and you can add and remove and change passwords for various accounts. There's also a system report feature, which allows you to take a look at the most recent results of various system checks. Some of the information displayed on the screen can be very useful if you need to contact our technical support department. The next section on the base station GUI is the Ethernet port configuration. Most everything on this page can be changed. The current values are indicated in this left-hand column, and then the alternate values are the fields that you can adjust. Once you click on Submit, those changes are going to take effect. Then the alternate values you've chosen will become the current values. Some other features on the Ethernet page include the routing table. You can change the VLAN ID. You can indicate whether they're eligible to be dropped packets in the case of congestion, and you can set the prioritization value. Application software is user controlled by an administrator. If you need to upgrade the system, you simply download the file, choose the file, and then click on the upload button to put the file onto the radio. The upgrade doesn't occur immediately, it simply becomes an extra version that is available. If you wish to change the version that you're using, whether you upload a file or not, you simply select the alternate version and click on the reboot button. During that time, you can also reset the system to factory defaults. The Cpe Management Page allows you to monitor and control the CPEs that are connected to your system. In addition to adding and deleting, you can of course modify those CPEs. Simply check the box of the unit you want to modify, or multiple in some instances, and click on the CPE Details button. When you register a CPE, you simply need its hardware address or MAC address. Both DHCP and static IP addresses are supported. If you operate it in a NAT router mode, it by default, the client radio also functions as a DHCP server. In addition to addressing, we can also control which version of software is being used by the CPE from this screen. The software versions that are available are based on the software versions that have been uploaded to the base station. A separate VLAN is used in order to control the CPEs. This includes software updates, which can be enabled or disabled using this checkbox. Traffic shaping is a popular new feature of the Gen 3. This allows you to have different subscribers to your service pay different amounts of money for different plans without having to use some external device in order to control those data rates. Rather than adjust the bandwidth of each individual customer, you will define classes on this page, and then you'll apply that class to the customer. At the bottom of the page, we'll see the current CPEs that traffic shaping is being performed for, as well as the current settings. The Radio Manager page allows you to enable and disable a radio, as well as see what channels are available. Our base station currently uses a GPS receiver. This shows it's connected to 9 satellites, and we have a latitude and longitude. And we are adjusting the antenna height to the current installation of 10 meters. It is important that your antenna height above ground level is indicated in this field. Currently, the FCC in the United States limits height above ground of TV whitespace installations to 30 meters. International regulations will vary. Different regions throughout the world use different whitespace databases, and those may or may not be adjustable from this screen. I'm currently using a demo database and will normally be operating on the Spectrum Bridge database. We also support Google and iConnective. There will be other databases available in other RuralConnect Gen 3 devices as they are distributed. If allowed in your region, you will be able to change the TV whitespace database provider. You may also have control over whether the base station does Cpe Location Checking. A feature not allowed in the United States, Cpe Location Checking is a feature that simply requires the base station to ensure the location that the Cpe is located at. Cpe Location Checking forces the base station to not only acquire available channels for its location, but as well as the locations of each Cpe. This function is required in the United States per FCC rules. The geolocation that's used for the registration and channel requests will either be based on GPS data or coordinates that are manually entered by the professional installer. Note these settings must be accurate within 50 meters per FCC regulations. When a whitespace database has been chosen, the base station will register with the database and acquire a list of channels. If that works, you'll see a channel list available message. This message implies there are channels that are available for use. The channel can be automatically selected by the base station, or you can remove that check and you can choose the channel yourself. Disabling automatic channel selection allows you to choose the channel by clicking on the channel field and choosing the channel from the list. In addition to blocking the channels you can't use by graying them out, this channel list will also show you the noise values of channels that have some kind of transmissions nearby. You'll see in channel 26 here, for example, there is some noise. Any value above 0 is some noticeable noise. You want to use a channel that shows a noise value of 0. Noisier channels are going to have higher numbers. So I don't want to use channel 42, and I don't want to use channel 26. As a safe bet, in most areas, it's nice to find a string of channels that are available and pick one of the channels in the middle to help avoid any potential interference. Lower frequencies are generally better options. Once a channel is selected and the radio is transmitting, you will see the frequency for that channel indicated in the field at the bottom. Registering with a whitespace database requires not only geolocation but contact details. Clicking on the Contact Details button, you'll see a list of fields that you need to complete. This includes both the operator contact and the owner contact. In some instances, the equipment will be owned and operated by the same people or person, in which case both of the fields are going to be the same in each row. If the owner of the equipment is not going to be responsible for operating and maintaining the equipment, then you want to make sure that the responsible parties are included for each. Note these contact details imply specific responsibilities, and all of these details are public record. The RuralConnect Gen 3 system uses GPS receivers in order to gather geolocation data. You can click on the GPS Details button in order to see the current status of the GPS receiver. If you don't have a GPS signal and need to override the location, you can simply click on the Use checkbox and enter the latitude and longitude here. While a professional installer may perform this function, these must be accurate within 50 meters, and the person who is entered as the operator in the Contact Details page will be the person responsible for making those decisions. The Simple Network Management Protocol, or SNMP, is a function The Simple Network Management Protocol, or SNMP, is supported by the RuralConnect Gen 3 system. If you wish to use SNMP for monitoring your network, you can simply make those settings here. Set your read-only community, the read and write community, and set your location and system contact. You can also control which hosts are allowed to connect. Additional SNMP functionality will become available. The Key Parameters section is where all of the performance logging and graphing occurs. From this tab, you can see the most recent details of the performance of the system, including the modulation that's being used, the signal levels, and packet error rates, as well as the data that's being transmitted and received on any interface. This graph, for example, is showing me the current uplink and downlink RSSI values for my client. From this screen, you can clear the logs. You can also download the logs as CSV files to be imported into another program. The log out link does exactly that. It immediately locks you out of the system and allows you to log in with another username, the default being admin and password with a capital A. Thank you for joining me to get a quick overview of the RuralConnect Gen 3 TV Whitespace base station's graphical user interface. The current product is in a late beta stage and is currently under heavy development. If you have any questions or any comments, feel free to contact me at support@carlsonwireless.com. Thank you for joining me and have a good day.